Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome Mr. J.R. Starch.
Thank you. It's a privilege. Yes. Do I need the microphone? Okay. I'm going to use the cheaters if you don't mind. If you can't hear me, please let me know and I'll add the microphone. Good evening. As he said, my name is J.R. Starch, call sign Flash. We'll talk about that after dinner. I'm the CEO of Legionnaire International Group and a Marine by the grace of God. I'm honored to be with you here tonight as your guest speaker. And if you've ever been over by the airport and seen any of the A-4 Skyhawks flying around, making all that racket, please blame me. On this auspicious occasion, I would like to begin with my most humble gratitude for the opportunity to speak to you on this, the 250th anniversary of our beloved Marine Corps. And like the rest of you who earned the title Marine, I also failed the psych eval. In truth, I am just grateful that the Corps gave me a home away from home. They let me have a rifle and they let me fly airplanes. Wow. The Marine Corps gave me far more than I could ever repay. It gave me purpose, discipline, courage, and a lifelong commitment to excellence in all that I do, just like you. It taught me that service to others before myself is the highest calling. Non sibi, sed patri, not for self, but for country. We are fortunate to share the room tonight with many friends, families, and fellow service members who are all part of our story as American Marines. We would not be here without them. If I may be so bold, allow me to remind each of you what it is that makes us who we are as Marines. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. For 250 years, Marines have been called to fulfill this oath. We are a towering deterrent in peacetime to aggression against our nation. And in wartime, we are an epic scourge upon our enemies. Why do we do it? What drew each of us to this obligation? No matter our color, gender, or hometown. What values do we protect? And to what do we aspire? Lest we forget, or worse yet, fail to teach the new generation what liberty requires, let me remind you of what your oath protects. It begins in the ideals expressed in the opening lines of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Created equal, endowed by our Creator, unalienable rights that must be protected. Those very ideals, born from the hearts who yearned for freedom and opportunity, took their own fate by the hand and stood up against tyranny. They created our heritage. And for the past quarter millennium, Marines have fought to preserve and defend it. Our legacy continues as we gather here in one small group, like so many others around this great nation, to honor the legacy of all those who have borne the title Marine. We know the story. On November 10th, 1775, 2 battalions of Marines were raised and they formed our hallowed beginnings. They were committed to defend the colonies against the tyranny of the British Crown. From private to colonel, they became the first American soldiers of the sea and did so protect the birth of a new nation. One we must defend in every generation, lest we lose it. Defend it we have and defend it we will, for as Marines we can do no less. This annual ceremony is a ritual for us, no matter where Marines may be found. For many of us, me included, we would almost rather celebrate this day than our own birthdays, as if to recognize that the baptism by fire in Parris Island and San Diego and Quantico have become the framing moment for the rest of our lives. From that fateful day in 1775 to today, these famous battles, slogans, quotes, and phrases characterize the Marine Corps, comprised of generations of men and women, such as those who sit here tonight. I pray these will stir your blood once again to action in reflection of the oath each of us has pledged. So please listen and reflect. The continental ship Providence, now lying at Boston, is bound on her short cruise immediately. A few good men are wanted to make up her complement. Marine Captain William Jones, 20 March 1779. Semper Fidelis, always faithful, our motto. The Marines have landed and the situation is well in hand. Leathernecks, first to fight. Gone to Florida to fight the Indians. We'll be back when the war is over. Colonel Archibald Henderson, 1836. Honor, courage, commitment. To our Marines, fill the most difficult and dangerous portion of the defense. The Marines acquitted themselves nobly. U.S. Minister Edwin Conger, Peking, 1900. Gung-ho, working together. Boxer Rebellion, 1900. Retreat hell, we just got here. Marine officers at Belleau Wood, June 1918. Come on, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever? Gunnery Sergeant Dan Daly, 1918. Teufelhunden, devil dogs. I have no one on my left and only a few on my right. I will hold. First Lieutenant Clifton Cates, Soissons, 1918. The deadliest weapon in the world is a Marine and his rifle. General John Pershing, United States Army, 1918. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Master Sergeant Paul Woshner. God damn it, you'll never get a Purple Heart hiding in a foxhole. Follow me. Captain Henry Crow, Guadalcanal, 13 January 1943. Casualties many. Percentage of dead not known. Combat efficiency, we are winning. Colonel David Shoup, Tarawa, 21 November 1943. The raising of that flag on Suribachi means the Marine Corps for the next 500 years. James Forrestal, Secretary of the Navy, 23 February 1945. Among the men who fought on Iwo Jima, uncommon valor was a common virtue. Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz, 16 March 1945. 1 million men could not take Tarawa in 100 years. Japanese Admiral Keiji Shibasaki. The Marines secured the island in 76 hours. The bended knee is not a tradition of our Corps. General Alexander Vandegrift, 5 May 1946. I have just returned from visiting the Marines at the front, and there is not a finer fighting organization in the world. General Douglas MacArthur, 21 September 1950. We are a ferocious, retreat hell. We're just attacking in another direction. General Oliver Smith, Korea, December 1950. We are a ferocious little confraternity, a violent priesthood. You aren't simply enrolled, but ordained. Korean veteran James Brady, December 1950. Don't you forget that you're first Marines. Not all the communists in hell can overrun you. Colonel Chesty Puller, December 1950. Just a few left. Some people spend an entire lifetime wondering if they ever made a difference in the world. The Marines don't have that problem. President Ronald Reagan, 1985. Be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet. General James Mattis. The yellow footprints, the gateway to the Corps. Listen to these names for a moment, please. O'Bannon, Henderson, Cunningham, Quick, Daly, Butler, Lejeune, Puller, Foss, Boyington, Hayes, Johnson, Grimes, Brewer, Basilone, Glenn, Hathcock, Diamond, Vittori, and our code talkers. And you. Yes, you. That is our history, our legacy, and our honor. And let me remind you that in 250 years, many of them have been spent in peace. Earlier, I made an important statement. Please hear me again. In peacetime, we are a towering deterrent to our enemies. In wartime, we are an epic scourge. We are warriors with a purpose. Attributed to Edmund Burke in the 18th century is a quote by which I live. All that is necessary for evil to win is that good men do nothing. Today, just as in every generation, we face new and old enemies, both from within and without. Within American culture, there is a growing push to attract our youth to the tenets of communism and atheism, where virtue and morality are thrown aside in the pure pursuit of power and greed. It is a viable and devastating threat if it's left unchecked. China, with whom we have been at war since 1950, is threatening the peace across the Pacific once again. Its ally Russia is threatening liberty and freedom in Europe. In many other parts of the world, oppression and death are used as tools for those who want power and are driven by greed. The human condition has not changed, clearly inferring that Marines will always be necessary. We must remain vigilant, ready to fight. So whether you serve for 2 years or 30 years, from private to general, in peacetime or in combat, your commitment, your sacrifice, and your contribution are a part of the legacy of this Corps. It is your Corps. That does not end when you hang up the uniform. It is who we are. It is how we must remain if tyranny is to be held at bay. To quote President Reagan again, he said it so very well, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in our bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on to them to the same, or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was like in the United States when men were free. May I remind you that your obligations under the Uniform Code of Military Justice have most certainly changed. No longer are we restricted by Article 88, which was written to ensure that as Marines we faithfully restrain ourselves from political action or contemptuous speech against government officials. We are barred from such activities, immortalized in the phrase, "We're here to protect democracy, not practice it." However, that does not mean that we are to ever subdue our personal values as American citizens protected in the Bill of Rights. This is why we served. Our values and our beliefs form the basis of the social contract that is represented in the Constitution, and it is the very heart of who we are as Americans. They give us strength and confidence to act when action is required and to speak when our voices must be heard. It is up to us to protect that contract. We must be ready to act, and Marines have always answered that call. If you have not read these documents in the recent past, the Declaration, the Constitution, I strongly encourage you to sit down with your family or by yourself and soak in the rich language of its priceless and timeless principles. Read it, know it, and adhere to the principles of the written language you find there. The Constitution, lest you've forgotten, is written in black and white, and until such time as it is amended, we will honor it to the letter. Just as we obey the laws of our lands, we must be ready to defend the very moral code that makes those laws just and right. No one may subvert those laws without consequence. We must not allow it. In a recent speech to the Department of War, senior officers, I love saying that, the Department of War, to their senior officers and enlisted personnel in Quantico, Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, issued a call to action for our military. We must deter aggression wherever we find it. We must defend our nation and allies, and we must revive the warrior ethos. We must remain the strongest and most lethal force in the world, and we must do it rightly before God. We must revive the warrior ethos. We must defend what is ours. We must stop being pacifists in the war of ideas. We must hold to the truth of God and the wisdom of the Constitution. We must teach that accountability, responsibility, and dependability are badges of honor, not ill repute. Living out these ideals requires great courage and discipline, but they are worth it. They require us to show up every day and invest in each other. They require us to be kind but firm. They require us to act even when it hurts, all for the greater good, and we must not fail. If we do this, if we hold the line, if we are willing to once more stand in the breach, only then can we ensure another 250 years of our nation and our core. For those Marines who have sounded taps, we honor their sacrifice on our behalf. To do so should remind us of our high calling. As for me, I remain in service to our nation by continuing to design, build, and fly the weapons and systems that our warriors will use to preserve us in decades to come. It is the privilege of my life to serve with my team and to see their daily commitment to this same cause. And we talk about these ideas constantly. Not all the team are veterans, and few are Marines, but they are all Americans. And they are committed to the preservation of liberty and freedom. I'm grateful for them as I am grateful for each of you. You are my brothers and sisters, painted in red, white, and blue, and with you I stand to defend liberty and justice. So what should we all be doing to protect truth, liberty, and freedom? You don't need to fly a jet or carry a rifle anymore. You simply need to stand for truth every day, a reminder we need. You need to take those precious moments to teach the next generation that we are responsible to God for what we do with our lives. You need to stand up when truth and justice are being maligned or subdued. You need to continue to make a difference for right. You can, and I trust you will. And that is my call to action to you. So please allow me to end with this. With no foreknowledge of any of your individual religious values, it is my strongest core belief that we must stand firm for the Judeo-Christian morals by which this nation was founded. We must continue to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States so that every American is free to choose their own path. Providence is the hand of Almighty God working in our lives. I must remain faithful to the oath I have taken to serve my Lord Jesus Christ, the American Constitution, my fellow Marines, and the citizens of this great nation. This is the great call to action for each of us. What will you make of the rest of your life? As we have cut the cake to symbolize the handing down of legacy and the traditions of our core, may we fully and deeply recommit ourselves to end better than we began, to be masters of excellence in all we say and do. It has been one of the great honors of my life to serve the nation in the Marine Corps, and it is a great honor to be here tonight as your speaker for this historic 250th anniversary and celebration. I pray that my words this evening will inspire you and carry you into the years to come, reminding you of where we all started and what we have all accomplished. As I draw to a close, I would like to point back to the chaplain's prayer, the Marine's prayer. Almighty Father, whose command is over all and whose love never fails, make me aware of thy presence and obedient to thy will. Keep me true to my best self, guarding me against dishonesty and purpose and deed, and helping me to live so that I can face my fellow Marines, my loved ones, and thee without shame or fear. Protect my family. Give me the will to do the work of a Marine and to accept my share of responsibilities with vigor and enthusiasm. Grant me the courage to be proficient in my daily performance. Keep me loyal and faithful to my superiors and to the duties of my country and the Marine Corps have entrusted to me. Help me to wear my uniform with dignity, and let it remind me daily of the traditions which I must uphold. If I am inclined to doubt, steady my faith. If I am tempted, make me strong to resist. And if I should miss the mark, give me courage to try again. Guide me with the light of truth and grant me wisdom by which I may understand the answer to my prayer. God bless you. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the United States Marine Corps. And finally, good night, Chesty, wherever you are.